Machete Kills is a 2013 American action comedy film written and directed by Robert Rodriguez. It is the third film based on Grindhouse fake trailers. Danny Trejo, Michelle Rodriguez, Tom Savini, Billy Blair, Electra and Elise Avellan, Felix Sabates and Jessica Alba reprised their roles from the first film, as well as being joined by series newcomers Mel Gibson, Demián Bichir, Amber Heard, Sofía Vergara, Lady Gaga, Antonio Banderas, Cuba Gooding Jr., Vanessa Hudgens, Vega, William Sadler, Marko and Charlie Sheen. The film follows the titular ex-federale as he is recruited by the U.S. president to stop an arms dealer and a revolutionary. The film was released on October 11, 2013, to negative reviews from critics and failure to recoup its budget of $20 million. Plot: the film is preceded by a fake trailer for Machete Kills Again in Space, which features the titular hero on an intergalactic mission, starring Danny Trejo, Michelle Rodriguez, Vega, Lady Gaga as whoever she wants to be, Justin Bieber as a robot named Bleep and Leonardo DiCaprio as the man in the silver mask. The actual film starts off with Machete Cortez and Santana Rivera attempting to capture weapon dealers who have been supplying the Mexican drug cartels. The military men are then all killed by the gangsters, who in turn are wiped out by yet another intervening party. Its leader, wearing a mask, murders Santana with what appears to be a blaster and leaves Machete devastated. Machete is then arrested by a corrupt Sheriff Dokes and Deputy Kilborn. Dokes tries to unsuccessfully hang Machete but is forced to release him on orders of the President of the U.S. Rathcock. Machete is then brought to the White House, where the President offers him United States citizenship if he eliminates Marcos Mendez, a psychopath who is threatening to fire a nuclear missile at Washington, D.C. If the American government does not intervene to stop the rampant drug cartels in Mexico and the corruption of its government. Machete agrees and travels to San Antonio, where he meets his handler, Blanca Vasquez, an undercover beauty pageant competitor also known as Miss San Antonio, who seduces Machete before sending him to Acapulco to meet a young woman, Cereza, who can lead him to Mendez. Machete finds her in a brothel run by her mother, Madame Desdemona, who attempts to kill Machete before he escapes with Cereza. She takes him to Mendez's associate, Zaror, who kills Cereza before taking Machete to Mendez's base of operations. There, Machete learns that Mendez has wired the missile's launch device to his heart and triggered its launch in 24 hours. Machete escapes, kills Zaror and his men and captures Mendez, whom he intends to escort to the United States to find the only man who can disarm the missile, its creator. While rushing to reach the U.S.-Mexico border, Machete learns that Mendez is an ex-secret agent who tried to expose his corrupt superiors, only to be betrayed and forced to watch his family being tortured. The trauma drove him insane by creating his split personalities, as well as led him to join forces with the missile's creator. Shortly thereafter, a hit is put on their heads. Machete is targeted by Madame Desdemona and her prostitute assassins, a shape-shifting hitman, El Camellia Cubden, as well as Sheriff Dokes. Machete and Mendez manage to reach the U.S. and kill Sheriff Dokes and Deputy Kilborn only to be caught by a seemingly reborn Zaror and the same mercenaries who killed Santana. Zaror decapitates Mendez and Machete is riddled with bullets by the gunman. Machete wakes up to find himself in a healing tank and that he has been taken to meet Zaror's benefactor, corrupt businessman, inventor and Star Wars fan Luther Voz. Voz shows Machete Mendez's beating heart, preserved in a jar, as well as informs him of his plan to manipulate extremists throughout the world to detonate nuclear weapons while he and whoever chooses to join him escapes in a spaceship to rebuild society in space. Voz appears to have visions of the future that drive his goals and also reveals that Zaror is one of the many genetically engineered super-soldier clones he has created to assist him, but that he now instead wishes to take Machete's DNA to make clones of him as much more powerful weapons. Machete then escapes with help from Luz, who had heard about the hit on Machete. She informs him that the only one who can disarm Mendez's heart is Machete's old enemy, Osiris Amanpour. Machete contacts Miss San Antonio, who instructs him to meet her at a rendezvous point. Arriving there, Machete is betrayed and ambushed by Miss San Antonio, who is in league with Voz. As she is escaping into the desert, Machete gives chase and jumps onto the top of her vehicle but falls off after gunfire comes through the roof. Machete is then given a ride, unaware he's been picked up by El Camellia Cubden, who then tries to kill him one last time. Machete escapes and El Camellia Cubden ends up being shot to death by a group of racist rednecks just inside the U.S. border. Machete then reunites with Luz and her group, the Network. They infiltrate a fundraiser at Voz's base of operations. In the ensuing firefight, Osiris is killed by Voz before being able to disarm Mendez's heart. Machete realizes Voz was the one who killed Sartana and then fights him. Voz admits that since Machete got involved, his future visions have become less accurate and clouded. Machete severely burns Voz's face, disfiguring him to the extent that Voz is forced to wear a metallic, silver mask. Meanwhile, Miss San Antonio shoots Luz in her good eye, completely blinding her. Somehow, Luz locates Miss San Antonio, fights with her and ends up throwing Miss San Antonio's own tiara at her, piercing her chest and then shooting her. Luz is then confronted by Voz, frozen in carbonite and taken aboard his ship. Machete jumps on the missile as it launches and disarms it in mid-air, while Voz boards the ship and departs with the Tsar clones, his supporters, as well as Luz. The disarmed missile then plunges into the Rio Grande and Machete is rescued by President Rathcock, who asks him to follow Voz into space and kill him. Machete readily agrees and uses a SpaceX rocket to depart to Voz's station in Earth's orbit, where he is given a laser machete to start his mission. In a post-credits scene, an outtake from the Luz and Blanca fight scene is included, followed by a shot of President Rathcock in front of a space background inquisitively brandishing two of Voz's guns before firing wildly at an off-screen target. Cast. Production. On June 10, 2012, Rodriguez announced that principal photography for Machete Kills had begun. Principal photography took only 29 days, as shooting wrapped on July 28, 2012. The film was produced by Robert Rodriguez, as well as Aaron Kaufman and Ilyana Nikolic through their Quick Draw Productions, Sergei Bespalov of Aldemiza Films, Alexander Rodnyansky of AR Films and Rick Schwartz of Overnight Productions. Lindsay Lohan, who played April Booth in the first film, will not appear in this installment. Rodriguez said that he liked Lohan's character but she didn't fit into the story. A film has Charlie Sheen credited under his birth name Carlos Este. Copyright Fez. Expected to be a one-time move, it was Sheen's idea to use his birth name for the film, due to the film's Hispanic theme. The trailer for the film uses an and introducing tag when showing Sheen's birth name. On June 20, 2013, the film's release date was pushed back from September 13, 2013, until October 11, 2013. Promotion. On October 9, 2013, Lady Gaga's VEVO released a lyric video for Aura, a song from her fourth album ARTPOP, to promote the film. Reception. The film ranking website Rotten Tomatoes reported that 29% of critics had given the film positive reviews, based upon a sample of 112. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the film has received an average score of 41, based on 33 reviews indicating mixed or average reviews. Lady Gaga was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actress for her work in the film, but lost to Kim Kardashian for Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Sequel. At the end of the first film's theatrical release, two sequels are mentioned, Machete Kills and Machete Kills Again. The trailer for the third and final film, Machete Kills Again in Space, precedes the second film as a coming attraction. References. External links, official website, Machete Kills at the Internet Movie Database, Machete Kills at Box Office Mojo, Machete Kills at Rotten Tomatoes.